This week, the NFL playoffs have been good and bad for the one-star curse, the college football natty. And we hang with a worldwide hockey phenom, captain for the WHL, Everett Silvertips, and a future number one pick in the NHL. Oh yeah, he's only 15 years old. The future, Landon DuPont.
It's all hockey this week, DK. Skate on over to 500level.com to get the best t-shirts for the greatest hockey players in the NHL. Nathan McKinnon, Colorado Avalanche. Connor Hellebuck, the goalie for the first place Winnipeg Jets. And of course, our guy, Connor Bedard. We talk about him in this episode. Hockey, my favorite sport. Use the discount code DK and RIP at checkout for 20% off everything on the site. That's DKANDRIP. 500level.com. Let's go.
This is Landon DuPont with the One Star Recruits. Go Tips.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. 182 pounds and sunny back in the Portland studio. I'm fresh off a weekend road trip, a 3-day weekend, a little roadie, some ball watching, some seafood eating. Rip, you have a good weekend? It's been cold, man. Have you gotten any snow in Southern California?
No snow, but seasonably cold weather down here. We're in the 40s at night, which is unusual for us, but it comes along with a lot of illnesses and coughs and stuffy noses and all that sort of stuff. So we had a 3-day weekend, but it wasn't very fun, I'll be honest.
Always with the kids. Birthday parties, they get sick. We fight through the weekend. Then you're back right here, sending them off to school, sniffles and all. Every kid got the damn sniffles and the sickness this time of year. I mean, it's cold as hell. I saw there was literally snow on the ground in Houston, Texas. Shout out to our guy, Uncle A, city of Houston. They don't get a lot of snow that sticks out there very often. Snow in Vegas, Rip. It's cold out here in these streets, dude. It's really definitely, I don't know if it's because I'm back from Hawaii and I get it at night, gets super cold, 22, 23 degrees. But bro, we've hit the peak of winter here. And my RAV4 hung out quite well, bro, on my road trip. I'll tell you that much. 5 stars for my road trip. But I missed a huge opportunity. Huge opportunity was missed because I didn't check my docs. I wasn't prepared. You have a guess? My big miss, my big opportunity letdown?
Seeing that you're a couple hours from Seattle and our guy Landon DuPont is about 45 minutes from there, could there have been a chance meeting between you, an in-person interview with you and Landon this week?
No, bro. I'm not going to do in-person interviews because they're busy doing their thing. But I could have gotten to a game that day. I was driving through the city of Everett, really ironically, super ironically enough that until Sunday night, we had this interview Monday. So yesterday, listeners, I'm breaking all the things. But the ironic part of this whole story, bro, is here I was in this town of Everett, Washington that I would have never been in. I did some Wikipedia research. We done a nice little dinner, a little seafood dinner, a little breakfast. And then I pop up the laptop and I look at my boy Rip. He said, what's on the schedule? Let's see. We got LD, future phenom, best defender in all of the future of hockey. Going to be okay. Everett, what the fuck? Everett, Washington. So, bro, something is going on in Everett. And my opportunity was I should have gone to a game on Saturday. Instead, I was sitting in a hotel room watching ball, which is okay because we're big ball watchers. It's the playoffs. We're going to talk about it. One-star curses all over the place. One-star non-curses also happening, but some one-star curses happening. And I was watching that when I could have had my energy at a tips game, watching the future. So a missed opportunity, but it was still a good road trip, man. How about Bellingham, Washington? You ever been to Bellingham? Belly, the locals call it.
I'm the only person on this podcast who's never been. I've never set foot in the state of Washington. It's embarrassing.
It was gorgeous up there, man. Close to Vancouver, close to Seattle, home of NFL quarterback, former Titan Jake Locker, home of ASU coaching legend Dennis Erickson. A lot of good athletes in the Pac Northwest. A lot of good creating of athletes. Rip, you might have messed up having your children in Southern California. There's only one LeVar Ball. He got all the good balls out of him, There's only one. Maybe you should have came up here to the Pac Northwest and you'd be having more athletes, future quarterbacks. You never know. There's something in the water. But at the end of the day, This dude is 15. We're not joking, listeners. Rip, tell him I'm not joking when this guy is, and you'll hear in this interview how he's a leader and he's the future. But all the reports say, right, Rip, all the drafting stock, all the speculators of NHL hockey, worldwide hockey, say this dude is next.
It's kind of hard to comprehend, DK. I talk about a little bit in the interview what you and I were doing at the age of 15. I'd be lucky to honestly form a complete sentence at that age, as probably a sophomore in high school. This kid is polished. I mean, he's projected to be the number one pick right now. I don't think anything's changed in the next couple of years. He's the next Macklin Celebrini. He's the next Connor Bedard. This kid has it.
And for hockey fans, he's a defender. That's rare. Paul Coffey, some of these names from the past, but we don't talk about defenders like we do at this number one draft pick in this level. So interesting. We got him here first. Second ever podcast this guy's ever been on. Enjoy this interview with our guy, Landon DuPont.
Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a Calgary native, a worldwide hockey player, currently a defenseman for the WHL's Everett Silvertips, and the new record holder for the youngest guest we've ever had on this podcast, Landon DuPont, is on with the One Star Recruits. Thanks for hopping on, Landon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, we're glad to have you. I mentioned 15 years old. When I was 15, I'm going to show you how one star we are. I was working at a grocery store in Arizona. DK right here was doing kick flips and asking adults to buy cigarettes for him outside of a convenience store. So we're the one stars. You're away from home playing in one of the best hockey leagues in the world right now as a 15-year-old. How do you handle such independence at your age? Does that come naturally to you, or is it a struggle sometimes?
Yeah, obviously, it comes natural to me a bit, but there's sometimes where, you have to rely on the people beside you and ask teammates for help and coaches and whatnot. But, I've amazing billets, so it's been pretty easy for me.
Yeah, man, dude, you've had a great. Congrats, by the way, Landon, on being named WHL Rookie of the Month for December. Props, congrats. And dude, you had a steady December and haven't let up into 2025 at all. Team is playing super fast, getting a lot of shots on net, playing together, bro. Really, how much fun are you having playing with the Silvertips? Seems like a fun group of guys.
Yeah, it's super fun. Like on and off the ice, we're just a really close knit team, and we work really hard, so it's been lots of fun.
Yeah, man. I mean, guys are flying around. Jameson, Carter Bear, flying around. Let me ask you this: as an offensive-minded defenseman who you're on the ice, you get a good amount of ice time, and you get a good amount of assists. What's key for you in making guys around you better, especially as a defenseman, and guys more active when they're on shifts with you?
Yeah, obviously, that's my main goal, is just to help my teammates out and make them the best players that they can be. But obviously, that comes with help and forwards being in the right spots. But I think just communication on and off the ice is just what really drives our offense.
Yeah. Are you talking a lot as a defenseman? Are you, when you're starting maybe a drive or getting something going, are you back like a free safety? You're letting them know, catch right, move right, bam, are you talking a lot?
Yeah, I like to talk as much as I can, because like I said before, it just helps knowing where each other are and helps with obviously playing with the puck and without the puck. But yeah, obviously I like to talk as much as I can.
You got to, man. Yeah, get people on the right spots. And your relationship too with Raiden, with goaltender Raiden Legal, who's new to the squad, a little bit new, about a month in. I read a tweet that he on December 8th, I believe, he completely ruined the teddy bear toss night with a 29 save shutout. Completely ruined the whole night out there. How's his addition been to the squad?
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's obviously a super skilled goalie, and he helps us out back there a lot and keeps us in games. And obviously, poor Wenatchee in that one game, they didn't get to throw their teddy bears till after the game because of him. But yeah, like I said, he's been awesome and he's a great teammate.
Yeah, he really is, man. And I think you're making him, just like your offensive players, I think you're really helping him too. When I watch you guys skate around, because communication, it seems like you're on the same page, and obviously less shots on goal because you're back there swiping pucks, man, making things happen. Dude, no joke. I was in Everett, the city of Everett, Washington, where you are currently, just this weekend. I did a little road trip up to Bellingham. Beautiful drive, listeners, if you've never done it. Dude, first thing I noticed, tell me if this is true or false. The traffic, as soon as I hit Everett, shuts down. you're sitting in traffic. True or false?
Yeah, that's true. Especially during rush hour,
Dude,
driving home from the rink sometimes over the trestle is a long wait.
it's over the threshold. The locals got to know if you're going through Everett on a road trip, just prepare yourself to go watch a hockey game or go get some dinner. Let me ask you this: in the city of Everett, we had dinner and we had breakfast. You tell me thumbs up or thumbs down at my choices. All right. For dinner, I took my wife to Anthony's. We had some great seafood. Thumbs
Oh,
up.
that's a thumbs up. Big thumbs up.
Let's go. We had some mussels. She had the salmon. It was lovely. What's your order there? What do you get there?
I switch it up. I got the salmon one time, and then I think I just got a pizza the most recent time.
Oh, dang. I didn't. So, listeners, catch a hockey game, take it over to Anthony's. You might see the squad over there. It's a good spot for breakfast. Surprisingly, down on Hewitt Street, bro, I hit up Vintage Cafe. Wonderful
Oh, that's
breakfast
my
spot.
go-to. On any day off, that's where I go with my
For
two
real?
Yeah.
You sit at the bar right there?
Yep. What'd you get?
Dude, I'm trying to lose LBs because I'm getting fat since I moved from Hawaii, but I got a mini omelet and it was delicious. It was perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, hash browns were good, dude. I love it. So Everett, shout out. So I've broken it down there. What do you have a favorite food spot, or do you have a favorite thing outside of hockey in this town of Everett that I just discovered?
They have some pretty good malls, and then me and a few of the guys on the team earlier in the year when the weather was nicer, we went golfing quite a few times, and they got some pretty good courses, so it's pretty good.
Dude, they do. How's your golf game?
Need some improvement, but I like
You
to say
breaking
I'm pretty
90. I know your hockey players are always good at golf. It's annoying. You're probably breaking 90.
Yeah, I think I'm high 80s. I'm right around there.
Oh boy, LD. Yeah, we'll probably catch you out at the Lake Tahoe event in the coming years, showing these boys how to play. I know how you've done. So, dude, you were born in Calgary, lived all over the world. Listeners, this guy's been in Switzerland, Germany, Canada, now Washington. What's been your favorite place so far?
Probably Zurich, Switzerland. It was just
Zurich.
beautiful. It was beautiful down there, like the mountains and everything, and all the ski resorts. It was pretty cool.
Dude, yeah, on wonderful. It's on my list to go to. I got to check it out. Yeah, good skier too. These young athletes are good at all the sports, man. I always get jealous with these young athletes. How about your favorite NHL team?
I don't really have one. I like to bounce around a bit, but this season I'd say it's Minnesota Wild. Every time I turn on my TV and they're playing, it's just fun games to watch. And
Yeah, a
they
lot
got
of action.
yeah, they got a few D-man prospects that I'm pretty excited to watch them in the next few years.
You got to keep your eyes on those defenders. Any other defenders from defensemen's years past that you mix into your games? Maybe some names from mine and Rip's generation that we would know.
Obviously, Paul Coffey was big. I never got to watch him, but just hearing about him, he would be someone that I'd like to play like and look up to. But yeah, Lindros as well. Just seeing some
Yeah.
of his highlights are pretty cool.
Oh, the Philadelphia, that Flyers jersey is so clean. How about the best logo in the NHL? Just logo. You're from Calgary. I think the Calgary Flames have the slept on coolest logo, in my opinion.
Yeah, they got
How
a
about just
pretty
best
good
logo?
The new Kraken one's pretty cool. It's pretty simple, but I really like their colors, so I'll probably just say that one.
Nice. Yeah, that is fire. Yeah, I got to get up to a Kraken game. That's good stuff,
Yeah.
man. Dude, before I
Yeah.
give it to Rip, you have a great family. Your pops played hockey in the NHL overseas and in Canada. Your mom's a real estate agent up in Calgary. You have some wonderful siblings, tons of great human beings around you. Like you said in the beginning, that you're not doing this on your own, you know. Couple family questions. Who's got a faster slap shot, you or Pops?
Pops for sure. He's got like he's got the like 100 flex, so I don't know if I can compete with that.
Oh, he's got the cannon then. He's still
Yeah.
letting it rip, man.
Yeah.
You got to ask him. I noticed he played one game in Long Beach, California. I saw he one single game. You got to ask him about that game. That's where Rip lives. Great city, but ask him about that one game. How about this? Who's the best cook in the house? Who's the best chef?
My mom for sure. My dad, he tries to cook sometimes, but it never ends up tasting any good. So I'd
What's
have to
mom's
go.
best dish? What's the number one draft pick best dish for mom?
She makes some good like chicken parm. Some really
Classic,
good.
my favorite. Shout out, mom, chicken farm. Last
Yeah.
one, dude. Most watched TV show as a family in the house.
Probably Prison Break.
Great show.
Ooh.
The
we were big on
DuPonts.
Prison Break.
I'm ready
Yeah.
to come hang with the DuPonts, eat chicken parm and watch
Yeah.
Prison Break. Sounds like a wonderful
Yeah.
weekend to me, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Don't let this guy in the house. All right, Landon, we got a few more before we close it out. We end every interview with the segment we call 1 star to 5 star. We mentioned off the top we're 1 stars, but we're trying to get better with advice and tips from every guest we have on this podcast, like yourself. So just a few questions that run the gamut on the 1 to 5 star scale to close it out here. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, DK, we talked about a little bit. You're a golfer. If you look at your life though, like from the outside, it seems like it's 100% hockey. But I know there's other stuff outside. What's the 5 star activity outside of hockey that you like to do with any free time you have? Like, are you a video gamer? Are you like you go into the mall? What do you do with your free time?
I'm a big social person. I like to just hang out with people and talk to people. So, just on off days or after the rink, just hanging out with your buddies and going to the mall or playing golf or even just playing video games, just talking to different people is just what I like doing best.
Yeah, it's important to have that diversity and go out and celebrate a little bit. There's lots of talk about you being the number 1 overall pick in the NHL draft in 2027. I think it's the first year you're eligible. Connor Bedard, Macklin Celebrini, they both came with a lot of hype at a young age and really lived up to it so far, if not exceeded it. On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, how much do you pay attention to any of that talk about projections, and what are your thoughts when it comes to that?
Probably a 2 star. I obviously you see that stuff and obviously acknowledge it, but I just like to tell myself that I play this hockey for fun and not for those rankings. And so I just like to come to the rink every day and just focus on getting better and having fun with my teammates.
I like that. And I saw Connor kind of gave you that advice to keep it fun and still be a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're taking that to heart because he kind of followed that same path. So important to hear from somebody like that.
Yeah.
Last one, you're only the second player in WHL history, along with Connor, to be granted that exceptional status. Was there always curious about young athletes? Was there it's called a 5-star moment that happened where you knew you had a chance to be a really good player, like whether you were super young or even during the last few months here in Everett? Was there a moment that made you realize like I can hang with anybody?
I would probably say at the start of this season, because coming into the season, I was obviously nervous. So it's a big jump for sure, but I never really knew what to expect. But the first few games went really well for me, and so I think that really brought my confidence up and led to my further success as well.
Yeah, but I must say you hopped in really early and you have a very cool style and just like your personality on this show that listeners will get and fans will get in Everett. Go check out a game. Go get tickets. There's games coming up this week. They'll see that you are a wonderful defenseman because you're cool, calm, collected for your age, man. And you got these boys playing fast and having a really good time. It's fun hockey. It's really fun hockey. Go check it out.
All our listeners can go follow Landon. It's at Landon DuPont with 2 T's at the end on Instagram. Silvertips are in first place in the WHL. Seattle Thunderbirds on Saturday at the Angel of the Winds Arena. Landon, we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season and beyond, man. Thank you again for coming on with the 1-star recruits.
Thanks for having me.
Special thanks again to Landon DuPont and the Everett Silvertips for that amazing interview, DK, the youngest guest we've had on this pod. Let me give you my scouting report real quick on him, just from what I see, because everyone that listens to 1-star knows I'm a huge hockey fan, probably one of the biggest hockey fans on the West Coast. So as a 15-year-old, he's a really good skater. He skates fast. He's aggressive with the puck. And he has a high IQ for the sport. He has a very high hockey IQ. That's what makes him the number 1 pick in 2 years. What do you think of that?
It's so cheesy. You're such a chat GPT cuck is what you are, Rip. Dude, that can't read the heart. That can't read the soul of a leader, of a young 15-year-old already shooting 80 on the golf course. All he wants to do is hang out at the mall and be social. Not on media, though. Social with his friends, Rip. You can't track that in your social media breakdown of hockey. Get out of there. Stick with football, Rip. Stick with the NFL. You actually know that. Dude, couldn't measure our guy Jaden Daniels' heart during the draft. You think that the Chicago Bears, absolutely after last week, Chicago Bears kicking themselves because they didn't have a heart measurer. Maybe it's because although Daniels came on the podcast when he was 17, 18, he should have came on when he was 15. So we would have understood that this guy's a leader. I joke, Rip, because nobody nobody on the face of this entire world thought that the Washington Commanders would be where they are now after a fabulous victory this weekend. Go ahead, man. Tell me how unexpected this is for the Commanders to be here and just how surprised you are.
I'm not trying to be a Monday morning quarterback, but I drafted this guy, Jaden Daniels, in fantasy, and I think
That's
the seventh
true.
round. He's my guy. He has been for a couple years, and I still contend that it might happen this weekend. He still has 150, 175-yard rushing game in him because he's capable of it. He's been passing a lot. He's a great passer. He's a great deep ball. But I don't think it's going to stop with Detroit because if you can win in Detroit, they already won in Philly once this year. I think they knocked Jalen Hurts out of that game. I'm seeing the Commanders in the Super Bowl and maybe even winning it. Commanders Bills Super Bowl, DK. Let's go.
I believe if we run the tape back, you're big Lions guy, and we'll talk about the Lions in a second. But I'm surprised, man. No 1-star curse here from JD, guest of the show. No 1-star curse in another Commander, Rip. Austin Eckler. He doesn't play a lot, but boy, did he have big runs at big times. Big time runner in the playoffs, Eckler. And tell me if I'm reading this wrong. I think he's a lot of the heart and soul of that offense as far as energy. I think when Eckler's pumping, that offense is pumping a little bit more. You agree with that statement?
I do, and he's a smart guy, another 1-star guest. I know we're going to see a pattern for the rest of this episode talking about those guys, but I see Austin Eckler winning a ring in a couple weeks and riding off into the sunset.
There's a vision. You have a vision.
I have a vision. He's a smart guy. He's got other interests outside of football. He's been a huge contributor. I'd love to see him end his career with a ring and just retire after this Super Bowl.
There's been signs that Austin might want to be done. He got concussed earlier in the season, Rip, and I don't know if this was true or not, but there was rumblings that he possibly was thinking about not coming back after that. So he saw something that made him come back, and he's the turbo button on the PlayStation right now for that team. And I like the wide receivers. The deep balls with Brown that are connecting right now have been beautiful, fun to watch, but no 1-star curse going on here. Flip side, 1-star curse. Our guy Calvin Johnson was on the sidelines, former guest of the podcast. I know that the Detroit Lions have injury problems, and I know that they're banged up. What happened though here offensively, Rip? What happened to the Lions in this game? Because I don't think even going into it, still there was a sexy story. We talked even about the Redskins 3 weeks ago. I did a whole episode on the Redskins. On the Commanders. We did a whole episode on them, and it was fun. It was funny, but I still didn't believe it. What happened to the Lions? Was this coaching? Was this injury? Was this a team that was outmatched on the ball, player for player?
I think it was two things. It was coaching, like you said. Dan Campbell got out coached, and then the second thing was momentum. Once the Commanders had that Terry McLaurin touchdown, turned around and Jared Goff immediately threw a pick six. The Commanders were up by like 10. I think it was over at that point. So momentum is a huge thing in the NFL. Now you're seeing the Lions. They're kind of disbanding. Ben Johnson, the new head coach of the Bears. Aaron Glenn's probably going to go to the Saints. Dan Campbell, man, I think they might have missed their window. It might be done, DK.
It was tough, and I know Hutchinson's out. The safeties and the DBs were on going third, fourth string. I know, but even Ben Johnson. I mean, a lot of people today are talking about that play call with Jameson having him throw the ball. Maybe the second worst decision maker in the league behind, the receiver on the Steelers. I can't even think of his name right now. Just not keep the ball in Goff's hands. Lots of little things in that game, but at the end of the day, it was the composure of Jaden Daniels. I think it's the coaching aspect, Rip, that I saw was more of a fatherly loving coach with Dan Quinn. Some of these post-game relationships that you see, just hugs or feelings, seem super real. Not that I don't believe that Campbell has real relationships, but he's more of a rah, hit him in the face guy that maybe doesn't go quite as deep. And when you talk about a team sport, this ain't golf. This ain't tennis. I know Daniels is getting a lot of love right now. We're not talking about Bobby Wagner. We're not talking about some of these guys stepping up in the secondary. And they didn't play great. I mean, Detroit still put up 31 points, Rip. You know what I mean? It wasn't some amazing defensive show, but they've never been expected to be good. We thought the Patriots and the Commanders would be equal on defense. And they've shown up as a team in a unit. And I love your vision for our guy Eckler. No 1-star curse there. We got to talk about a one-star curse though next, man. Because this one was what it was painful. I think it was painful for a lot of the country. Unless you just like watching people completely suffer, or you're a Buffalo Bills fan, did this feel good? Go ahead for my mom, Rip. Walk us through what was happening in the Ravens Bills game, and then the one-star curse of Mark Andrews, terrific human being that was just heartbreaking.
So the Bills were up 27-19 with about 2 minutes left. The Ravens were driving 27-19. That's an 8-point difference. They needed a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the game, be 27-27. They marched down. They scored with 1:33 left to a pass from Lamar Jackson to Isaiah Likely, 27-25. 2-point conversion. It's snowing. The snow's coming down. It's slippery. It's icy. Mark Andrews, great play drawn up by the coach of the Ravens. Wide open for an easy 2-point conversion, drops the ball right in the end zone. It was a weird camera angle. It actually looked like he caught it for a second, but then obviously dropped it. Ball went on the ground. Just devastating for him at the end of that game. 1:33 on the clock. The Bills got the kickoff, got a first down, and that's the game over at that point.
Heartbreaking. That was it. Before that, a couple drives earlier, there was another play where he fumbled a catch that he should have had that got popped out and recovered by the defender. It was kind of two things. Let us forget really early, there was 3 bad turnovers also by the Ravens in the first half. It's a complete game, but those really stood out as huge plays in the moment that will define this game as we talk about it for years to come. And really, at the end of the day, this will be known as the Mark Andrews drops game. Rip. I mean, a couple things. Lamar Jackson was gracious, didn't blame him. Blame hasn't been going around. He was crying in the locker room after, very emotional for Andrews. It's emotional for the Ravens because they had momentum. We love Mo. We talk about Mo all the time. They had it. Granted, there was still $1.25 left, and Josh Allen and that team just needed to get into field goal range. Keep that in mind, listeners, too. It wasn't a given that this game was going to go into overtime. Everybody wants it, but it wasn't a given. Josh Allen is damn good and probably would have got that ball in field goal range. But this will go down in history as the Mark Andrews game. I blame Mark Andrews. I think you should have caught that ball. A lot of people would say should have handed it off. You're a running team. You ran the ball with Justice Hill and Henry that whole damn drive. You've been RPOing cleanly on this Buffalo Bills defense. That's not that good all second half. Don't go away from that. But because that's Andrew's squad. He's been there for so long. His relationship with Jackson, just from that fumble, he wanted to get him back too. There was a lot of things going on. But at the end of the day, you got to catch that ball, period.
Yeah, and the really sad thing is it looks like there's a really good chance it could be the last snap he ever played as a Raven, that drop ball. And I mean, he's going to probably be in their Wall of Fame, in the Ring of Honor. But they got 2 younger tight ends, and Isaiah Likely and Charlie Kohler, who are up next. And Andrews is in his late 20s. He'll go somewhere else for sure. But to see that be the end of his Ravens career, like you said, really good human, does a lot for diabetes awareness, former one-star guest. But yeah, that one-star curse is real this week for him.
Curse. We saw it coming, Rip. Is he the guy you're blaming for that L right there?
My defense of that is, like you said, there was 1:33 left. To me, it was a given that Josh Allen would have marched down and Tyler Bass would have kicked a game-winning field goal in the snow. So it only delayed the inevitable to me. So I don't blame him as much, but that fumble was probably even bigger than the drop to me.
A lot of people are saying after that fumble, he stood up and didn't put his jacket on and didn't put hand warmers on, didn't prepare. He stood up and kind of pouted a little bit on the sideline, pissed, obviously, wanting to get back in there. But it was a decent amount of time that he stood in that cold. I mean, that looked really cold to me. And we'll talk about the Philly game, too, because that also was a cold game. And so that one looked like they were just rocks running into each other. And that ball was like a 40-pound rock as it is. But, maybe could have prepared a little bit more, keep those hands warm. People will talk. It was sad. It was a bummer. We all wanted overtime. I think at the end of the day, for me, at least, Rip, the better team did win. And the MVP of this year, in my humble opinion, Josh Allen, because the reason for what you said, it was probably going to win it anyway. And he did some amazing things. He did some bad things. he didn't do some things that Josh Allen of the past would have done to ruin this team, which he's done before too, Rip. You saw the play, the quarterback sneak on the third down when he almost Brett Favre flicked it back to a wide receiver. He knew better, but in the past, Josh Allen probably would have done that. It would have got taken back for a turnover. So the better team won. Sad story. 1-star curse continues. Major bummer, but fun game. Cold game. Are you over the snow games, Rip? Or did you like the Philly game? Did you feel like did you get your bang for your buck watching these snow games like we used to? I know I used to play Madden, and I heard Jalen Hurts say it too. I used to set the snow. I did it too. I set it on the snow version because it was fun. More turnovers happen, but it's kind of a shittier watch for a full football game from a fan standpoint.
Never mind Madden. Tecmo Bowl snow version is the OG with the terrible snow graphics raining down on the field. I'm over it. I mean, I'm ready for a Super Bowl in good weather in a dome. I do enjoy the snow games every once in a while, but we have this in the entire playoffs. It gets a little old.
We got a 1-star curse in that game. Eagles, Rams, or no? All good. You can't think of anybody. Didn't touch us. There's no Kevin Bacon going on in this game. No 1-star curse there.
Not that I can think of.
I think we're clear. In that one, which is good. 1-star curse did not occur in college football. Congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes on a national championship. Interesting national championship, the first of its kind in this college football playoff bracket. They beat Notre Dame 34-23 in what was essentially a blowout, but no 1-star curse right there. Rip for Jimmy Tressel. No 1-star curse for our guy Ross Bjork. Used about $22 million, bro, to make that happen. Rip, go ahead, give them their flowers.
How about Ross? First year coming over from another school to Ohio State, one of the biggest sports programs in the country, and winning a natty in the first year. Time to retire, Ross.
No 1-star curse in the Ohio State. Look back on those guests. Great interviews of our past. Kyron Williams maybe brought a little bit of. Was he on the sidelines, Rip? Did you see him? Former guest of the show. Can't find another connection there. I think it was all good there. So we'll throw the curse out the window for college football. What do you think, Rip? First time they did it. This is just your initial reactions. We're going to do reacts, but just the first time. How did you digest it? I'm trying to think how I even digested it. I think I cared so much more about the NFL this week. I don't even really give a shit. I think it was okay. I give it a C off the top of my head if I had to think about it. If that Arizona State game wasn't as great as it was, and if they won, it would be a quick B+ for me, which makes me a homer and kind of an idiot and a dumbass talking head going through this because that makes no sense. But I'd give it a C- overall. It can be improved.
Yeah, I'm there with the C. I was just keeping an eye on the score a little bit, not really watching the whole game. But there are going to be a lot of guys on that field that's going to be on your fantasy team the next couple of years. Those receivers for Ohio State, DK. Woo!
Junkins. I'm getting Junkins early next year. Can't wait. Can't wait for next year's fantasy football draft. I'm going to come. Just you wait. I feel like I'm getting better as I get back to the mainland. Me living in Hawaii took me away from all of the secret little tells that I need to be successful in beating all of you dummies in the 1-star fantasy football league, which we'll be announcing some changes to soon. Stay tuned, listeners. Good stuff coming down the way. Any other ball you want to talk about, Rip? Any other ball from this weekend? It was a good weekend of ball.
What do you have?
Ryan Day keep his job? Do we not care about the Michigan loss anymore? Is it all good? That's what this little story in college football wants to tell you. Even though you can get kicked in the face, your rival can beat you, you can get beat by Northern Illinois, you can get some little hiccups. All this shit couldn't happen in the past. Now you can get hit in the face a little bit, kicked in the balls, get your little lower back tickled a little bit, and still end up with a natty. Jack Sawyer is still going to probably go top 15. He ain't no Brian Cushing. Okay, he shouldn't go top 15, but Ryan Day held it together. And the question now is, does he continue? Do we want more of the Ryan Day experience? Rip.
Absolutely. He just won a natty. His overall winning percentage, excluding Michigan, is like 80 or 85%. You got to keep the guy. Who are you going to get that's better than him right now? Fresh off a natty, DK. How dare you ask that question?
God, Lou Holtz fucking hates him, huh? Lou Holtz, big hater of him. I thought you were going to pull out your head coach Larry shit.
Bill Cowher, baby. Bill Cowher. Bring him to Columbus.
God, get out of here. Yeah, that's it. I knew you were digging up Cowher. Cowher's big old best jaw He would win in the best jaw competition at this stage in his life. That's it. Just best jaw. Stop saying his name, bro. Stop it. 1-star moments of the week. Let's get into it. Anything 1-star that happened in this glorious scheme of life that we live, we talk about them. We're going to bring them up. The worst thing that happened to us this week. Rip, go ahead.
DK, unfortunately, I've been talking about this week after week. I've basically been the victim of a crime every week now for the last month. And it happened again, DK. You heard my car broken into. I got packages stolen. I got all kinds of stuff going on. This week, my HSA, my health savings account, got hacked, DK. $2,300 of my HSA funds were spent on Amazon Marketplace and some other boutique clothing website. These lowlifes out there that are breaking into people's accounts and spending their money. I'm hoping to get this money back. I mean, Optum, I'm waiting for a call from you, Optum Healthcare.
How?
But man, I don't know what's going to happen next week.
How does one do that? They need your code or password? How does that even happen?
I have no idea. My card has been in possession my whole time. The only time I ever use it to buy anything is paying for healthcare related expenses online. I'll be lucky to be alive by this time next week at this rate, DK. Every single week something's happening to me. I'm scared to leave the house.
Maybe there's got to be a new people stealing that data, man. Well, there was a peaceful transfer of power in Washington D.C. this week. Tough on crime. We need it, Rip, in your community. It's time to get back to it. Maybe I'm sick of this. I'm sick of you getting ripped off. You're a hardworking man in Long Beach. All you want to do is go to birthday parties and coach your kids' little league. And you continue to get human feces on your doorstep and your identity's stolen. And it's ridiculous. Sick of it.
I can't even pay for Tylenol. My account has been sapped. I have $0 balance. Come on.
I bet you're just done with your shit, man. I bet you I could break into one of your accounts because I know your password. You still probably use like a DeAndre Ayton password, Rip, is my guess because although I don't want to go, I almost went on a DeAndre Ayton tangent here because we hate him in Portland. Guess what? They hate him in Portland as much as we hated him in Phoenix, Rip. Everybody hates him. He might be the worst basketball player in all of the NBA. Close with Ben Simmons. That was a tangent. I take it back. We'll save that for next week. 1-star moment for you. I'm sorry, Rip. I'm sorry that you keep getting abused, man.
I'm changing my password to Plumlee, DK. Plumlee, Plumlee.
It's time to move, Rip. Get it to Texas. Move to Gilbert. Go where you could buy a gun and you're safe, okay, Rip? 1-star moment of the week for me. Unlike my boy Rip, who was not self-imposed, who's a glorious man, and you usually keep things together and you're well thought out human being who thinks things through and safe and is a reliable, nice member of society. Mine was self-imposed, as it usually is, man. 1-star moment of the week. I went on a roadie, Kimmy and I, beautiful Northwest drive up the coast to Bellingham. I talked about it, belly of the beast. We got a new car. We got the RAV4. I talked about it. It essentially is Kimmy's car, so I've driven it a couple times. I did notice a couple times that I drove it that the little PSI thing that your air in your tires is low light was on. I just never thought it couldn't be too much. It's a new car. I just never put it together enough because I wasn't driving it enough. So it's on. We do our road trip. It's great. We get up there, 400 miles. I wake up the next morning. I'm like, okay, fuck this. I want to see what's going on with this PSI because this has been on since we got the car. Rip, very dangerous. Your boy drove 355 miles. And we've done almost 2,000 miles on this car, letting my wife drive around this damn city like a lunatic on 13 PSI in the front right tire.
Oh, my God.
It's supposed to be at 36, listeners. 13 PSI, your boy was driving 85 miles per hour through Tacoma, Washington, through the beautiful city of Seattle, okay? Up through the town of Longview. Very dangerous. So, 1-star moment. Stupid. What are we doing? Went, filled it up at the station, back up to 36 PSI, all good on the hood. Lesson for listeners out there who may have a new car. People all know that the PSI does change with the weather. It goes up and down versus the traction and the temperature and how hot it is, whatever. But when you do get newer vehicles or vehicles that have been shipped, sometimes they deflate the tires upon moving them from place to place on the trucks. So check your shit and don't sleep on your things in your car that tell you to check on things, because it's just a dumbass move. 1-star moment.
I want to question your awareness of your surroundings. If you were on 13 PSI, it should have felt like you were driving on a trampoline or in a bounce house. The equilibrium is off, DK.
It's off. Well, I've been driving a 2004 lifted Toyota Tundra for the last 3 years that bounces around like a damn trampoline. So my perspective is off. And I was enjoying the skyline. Rip, I was eating fucking oysters on a road trip, enjoying the sights. I wasn't thinking about 13 PSI, but you're right. Fucking dumb, dangerous, bro. One tire blowout. I'm not talking about the Everett Silvertips.
We're both lucky to be alive this week. We'll be happy to see there's an actual podcast next week at this rate.
Stupid. 1-star recommendation of the week. Positive note. This is simple, but I think it's key, and I did it and I accomplished it, so I'm sharing it with you mofos. 1-star rec of the week. It's the winter. It's cold. We talked about it. It's cold everywhere. Even Cali checking in low 30s at the nighttime. Kimmy's been wanting soup all the time. I'm not the biggest soup guy, but I'm down with it when the weather makes sense. Here's the deal. Make your own soup. I made a couple of the easiest soups. I made a vegetable soup and I made a lentil soup. Just so in case you're super dumb and you have no idea, all it is, it's a mirepoix. Rip, you know what a mirepoix is? Give me the 3 things in a mirepoix.
Celery, water, and carrots.
No water, bro. No water. Onion. One of the most important things in the pois is the onion, bro. You don't put the onion in, it's going to get completely effed. But those are the 3. So you get your mirepoix going. You do your lentils. You got to soak your lentils for about an hour before you put them in, by the way, just in case. A bay leaf, some oregano, salt and pep. Get those lentils in. Add some beef stock or some chicken stock. In this case, I use some chicken stock, a couple liters, put them all in. Add a can of crushed tomatoes. Boom. Hot soup. Get it simmered up. Get it boiling. Turn it down to a simmer. Leave it for 3 hours. All of a sudden, for less than $10, you have at least 13 to 14 servings of hot soup for your family, Rip, and highly recommended to eat them with saltines with butter, soft butter on top. It's an elite snack, actually, by the way. I don't think people think about it enough, talk about it enough. And the saltine as a cracker and as a snack definitely does not get enough respect on the streets. Like, people think it's a free thing, like a grape jelly. It's just a free extra you get when you're at a fucking diner on the Route 66. Dude, it's a pleasant surprise of crisp, salt, and if you add butter, it becomes just quite a decadent treat. And mix it in with your soup. They're made to be eaten together. Saltines, butter, and fresh soup. So there you go. Don't be a dummy. Make your own shit. Stay warm. Stay healthy. And put butter on your saltines.
This guy wants to know why he's gaining weight every week. There you go, listeners. Rewind 30 seconds and listen to this guy's diet. All right. Recommendation of the week for me, DK. I got really screwed by a company called Discount Mugs this week. I'm putting them on blast. They let me down in a big way, but fortunately there was another company out there. I ordered this customized product. I'm not going to reveal it right now because if there's any opposing coaches in Long Beach Little League listening, they're going to steal my idea. But anypromo.com is the company, DK. I spoke to a great gentleman. Sounded like he was possibly in a South American country. Anypromo.com gave me a great discount code, free shipping, saved me. The product is coming by Friday. My team's going to be very happy. So anypromo.com. If you need anything customized, any products, go to anypromo.com. Do not go to Discount Mugs. That's my rec of the week.
Yikes. Shots fired. And your recs there, Rick. Saying governments out there. Governments are being put out there. First names might have been said. You got to get good service out on the streets, though. Rip reacts. Hit the music. So you've been a proponent, and your theory in living most of life, but definitely with going to big events and getting tickets, has been to let the secondary market do its thing, wait it out, and then you get a price drop before the game. Guess what, Rip? The opposite happened for the college football playoffs this year. Prices skyrocketed for the game. The internet's talking. That concept of waiting for prices to drop doesn't exist anymore. It was a thing of the past. Are you buying your tickets for a big event before, or or are you going to risk it again like we did for Super Bowl 52?
I've changed my entire outlook on this. We flew all the way across the country to Tampa with no ticket and almost got burned by doing that. I think we paid extra 10 minutes before kickoff, and that was 25 years ago, DK. Now I'm buying my tickets in advance. I did it for the Christmas Day game in Phoenix for the Suns. I want to know I have tickets instead of them skyrocketing at the end. There was a professor, an economics professor at Arizona State, that taught me that last second thing. I hope that guy lost his credentials. It's not true. It doesn't exist anymore, like you said.
Got to take it off. Got to take it off the list at this point in time. It's a thing of the past. Technology has pushed that away, and it's a thing of the past. Rip. Congratulations, Ohio State, to their mascot, Brutus Buckeye. Started out as a $50 paper mache project to a Hall of Famer. Rip. Top 3 mascots of all time from my boy Rip. Go ahead. Number 3.
Phoenix Suns Gorilla.
Easy. Number 2.
Colorado Buffalo.
The buffalo itself.
Ralphie? Ralphie? Is that his name? Him? Her? Ralphie?
Ralphie.
The actual buffalo.
Probably been like 7 renditions of Ralphie over the years. But number 2, high on the list. Okay.
Number 1 all time. It's that guy down at Florida State, Michael Alford. That guy rides out on the horse. It's been going on for 100 years down there in Tallahassee. Yeah,
the Rip. We got a change in politics, and now we're bringing back the Seminoles. Ripwad wants to bring back the Redskins. We're done being woke. We're done on this podcast. We want to bring it on back. My boy Rip's bringing back the damn buffalo. Okay, the real buffalo, not a paper mache mask. Okay, I love the banana slugs in Santa Cruz. You just can't beat it. I need to find myself a T-shirt of the damn banana slugs. It's the top one by far.
Get the AD on the podcast.
Gonna get him on that podcast, Rip. 1-star curse, 1-star bump. A little bit of both for our guy, Dickie Vitale. He was set to make his college basketball return after a cancel battle. It got postponed because he took a fall, though. And I just want to give Dickie some love, man. Get well. We can't wait to see you back on a game. And Rip, maybe we get Dickie V back if we get him on the podcast. He's been through a lot of life over these past couple of years. And I'm actually amazed that he's coming back to call games. Older people, though, got to be wary of the fall. The fall is a very nerve-wracking thing, Rip. Any tips for older people to help them with falls?
Number 1 is you got to get in a place that doesn't have stairs. I mean, stairs are so common, especially in big houses. But once you get past the age of 70, 75, you can't be living in a house with more than 1 story, DK, unless you have an elevator. I assume Dickie V doesn't have an elevator. You can fall walking up and down 1 step. Get the stairs out, put the elevators in, or go to a 1-story. That's my big tip.
Get them out of here, man. Get them out of here. I got an In-N-Out burger coming to the Portland area, the first one by the airport. Very exciting news for me. Very exciting news for you, Rip. You got a new pitcher for your Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll. Go ahead, share the fun fact with the world, Rip. I know you've been wanting to say it. I'll let you go ahead and do it.
Corbin Carroll is actually our center fielder. Corbin Burns would be the new ace, but we got 3 aces, DK. I'm excited for the D-backs this year.
That's why I did it. I was messing up the Corbins, Rip, because I want you to do the fun fact.
Ah, okay. Every single person that has ever been named Corbin in MLB has played for the D-backs, last name or first name.
Mind-blowing.
Tyrone Corbin? Who's Tyrone Corbin? He played for the Suns.
Maybe.
Corbin Carroll, Patrick Corbin, Corbin Burns. Name your son Corbin.
Name your son Corbin. He'll become Arizona Diamondbacks. That's what we got going on, baby. Special shout out to the WHL, to the city of Everett, to our guy Landon. Keep your eyes on him. Rip, have a wonderful week. I love you. We will be back next week. Let's go.
See you next week.